so nice to see some of my colleagues and fellow nonprofit people here. Welcome. Some of you don't know who I am. My name in real life is Dr. Mary Stokrocki. I am a professor of art and art education at Arizona State University. I was a Taiwan Fulbright Scholar in 2012, and I was a World Bank consultant to Turkey in 1995 to 1997. I'm former Vice President and World Counselor of the International Society for Education 2 years. How about 8 years of that? I was president of the United States Society for Education through art and its webmaster for 10 years. You can imagine, because nobody else wanted to do it. I have taught in 14 countries and conducted qualitative research for over 36 years. I have an edited book called Interdisciplinary Art Education, Building Bridges to Connect Disciplines and Cultures, and that came out in 2014. And then I have another book, Explorations in Virtual Worlds, New Digital Multimedia Literacy, Investigations for Art Education, and that came out recently. That's about our work here in Second Life and also the Open Sim. I have several awards in my profession. Outstanding autobiography at Miami University. I graduated from Penn State, and I got the Outstanding Alumni Award then. And I am now president of my National Women's Caucus, and that's keeping me very busy. My most recent award this year for research in art education technology was given by my National Art Education Association in New York City. How about a month ago? It honors my research here on Second Life and also with the Open Sim with middle school kids. And I've been teaching a course called Digital Ethnography, which consists of various art quests. Students document and analyze artwork, and best yet, they interview avatars like you guys. I think Zinnia is one of their most popular avatar. Now, what inspired me to make this installation? This Lizard of ARS art is at my teaching site, the Art Arc. And you know, it's inspired by the book, The Wizard of Oz, because of its creativity, its parody on life, and pursuit of Oz, right? They really never find Oz, just like they never find art. Art, A-R-T. In Latin, art is Ars, A-R-S. Now, I notice a similarity between the terms. The author of The Wizard of Oz, Frank Baum, wrote, and it's above my head, I put his line, what he said, "I am everywhere, but to the eyes of ordinary people, I am unnoticed." The same thing about art. People don't realize that art is all around. They just think drawing and painting, but somebody designs all this stuff around us. And of course, Second Life is full of everything is art. So we can be very proud of our accomplishments. So this installation is for people to understand the changing nature of art and its various meanings, created by ordinary folks. Now, if you hit on the head, you get a copy of the play when you visit my site. And my students, I ask them to help me rewrite the play. And it gets to be very funny because, again, it's a parody. We're doing it from the lizard, the desert point of view. And it's full of very punny, P-U-N-N-Y characters, all trying to find art. Because the meaning of art is constantly changing. I thought this installation would be a really great idea. That's my lizard head up there. Don't get her mad because she gets very red in the head. Pun. And we also are doing this with children now in the schools. One of my local schools this summer. I hope those kids also do their own version. And the original research has been published in the International Journal of Education through Art that comes out through Asian countries. Okay, so let's see what we have here now. This is what the installation looks like at night. At night, everything is so bright, right? If you turn on your glow. That's my art arc classroom over on the left. See, classrooms don't have to be rectangular. They can be a dome. The arc is a dome protecting all my treasures and my students' treasures. We are part of the New Media Consortium. Now the play, like I said, is a parody. It's a performance. It's an improvisation for people to explore. Any avatar can come by and reinterpret it, bend the meaning a little bit. And the meanings of art, they range from beauty, preference, to significant form, expression, to kitsch. Kitsch is the world of bad taste, by the way. Gaming, and here's the most difficult one, prosthetic visuality. A prosthetic is a substitute limb, like when you have to get your hip replaced. And since I had to in real life, designing a prosthetic has become very important to me. These aesthetic ideas, they appear, they transform, and some even slip away throughout the play. As participants search to understand the complex ideas associated with changing art in a postmodern world. Okay, here's the lizard again. When you go to my site, you see this poster, and the poster is there for people to, it's an invitation for them to try. Again, if you hit the face, you get a copy of the play, a pop-up. The play is copyrighted, by the way. If you click on the giant lizard tail on the side, it's like a sliding board. You get the directions I'm making and sending me a mask. You know, the lizard constantly loses her tail because she needs a new one, T-A-L-E. So I need you to help me make the play more exciting. Now, if you click on the different characters on display, the different masks, you get a copy, a pop-up copy of their script, what they have to say. And some of it is very, very funny. All we need is about 2 or 3 lines. If you click on the prickly cactus on the bottom, you get a copy of the art definitions to parody. Now, there's so many, but these are the most popular ones. Again, the lizard keeps on losing her tail, so I need you to send me something. And there's my Gmail address at the bottom. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole play, but here is a couple of parts. This is how it starts off. We're off to find the lizards, the lustrous lizards of ARS, a pursuit of art that they never really find. In the opening, the students read these lines. One not so fine day, Reader looked out of his window and saw a giant dust devil coming. And he said, "What is that dirt in the distance? It looks like a giant wave, a significant form, coming across the desert. Look at all that dust." Emotional fuss, right? The reader looked around at his or her home and couldn't find a single colorful thing. Everything was so bland, all sandy, colored, and everyone was speeding around and not looking at where they were going. If you've ever been in a desert haboob or dust storm, you really do want to hide. They're running in different directions. Where did all the dust, fuss, come from? The sky turned black, and when the reader opened his eyes, he saw a giant tumbleweed. And of course, the tumbleweed comes crashing down in animation form. Now, this is an exhibition of my students' work in real life on the bulletin board. I work with pre-service teachers, and they exhibited their mask. We do this every single year, and this is in 2016. And they put a little bit of background tumbleweed for us. And this is what they called their characters. See if you can recognize the brainless buzzard, the cowardly coyote, the giggling gecko, Kitchee the Crow, and the lizards of ARS. This time there's two lizards, Jizzy and Lizzie. And then, of course, we have a sneaky snake and the oily owl. Who's the reader? That means she's very slippery or sneaky. So, what I ask people to do, even when they visit my installation, to write a punny pop-up. Punny, again, is a pun on fun, okay? Give me a 3-line script for our evolving play. Now here's a sample. I always give my students a model, a sample for them to try out. Now here's a pop-up. Now Giggles was afraid and said, Giggles is one of the geckos, right? That doesn't look anything like a rabbit, which is the representational or imitational theory of art. You didn't even make a plant. It has no expression. And then Coyote snapped, I am capturing its essence. Clever, isn't that? I am tired of growling. That is why they call me cowardly, because I lack the courage to imagine. And Reader retaliated, don't be so touchy. It will make a nice stool. And of course, the rabbit head over on the corner looks like a stool. Pretty clever. Now here's my avatar, Lizzie of ARS. And we have to change my identity all the time and my mission. And she's constantly growing another tail. Like I said, she's now president of the Women's Caucus. So this is what I'd like you to help me do. Send me a two-dimensional mask, 5 by 7 inch ping, PNG. Send your own 3 to 5 line script, just 3 or 4 lines, to parody The Lizard of Oz for a pop-up note card. Again, that's my address. And this reference at the bottom is quite funny, using humor, competing voices, and twists. That's very clever for you to think about. Now here's some very famous art definitions. Of course, some of these you recognize anyway. But did you ever hear of art proper, which is the plan, the idea, or the principle behind the work? That I got when I had to take a philosophy course at Penn State. You know, we do learn a lot, even though we have to suffer through those things. Art as experience is one of the most famous definitions of art from John Dewey, who tells us that art is heightened vitality. It's a result of interaction between a live creature in some aspect of the world in which she lives. It's a process of mentally recreating the aesthetic decisions as well as the actions involved. That's very philosophical. Now here's my favorite. Art is a game. Gadamer tells us that the art game, while in constant play or repetition, transforms itself through a rearrangement process. In other words, the game takes over. Whether you like it or not, you have no control. And if you ever throw on the ceramic wheel, you know that clay has got a mind of its own. I know because I taught ceramics for 10 years. Now, what is aesthetics, the study of art? You have all these possibilities you can choose from. But aesthetics is the grand idea, and it constantly changes. What is expressive form? Now, this comes from a female philosopher, one of my favorite ones. There's not too many. Art formulates experience and presents it objectively for our direct intellectual perception. And her favorite example is the atomic bomb. When you look in the distance, that giant cloud is so overwhelming that it will just knock you off your feet. Very similar to the desert haboob, which is an Arab term. Here's another famous definition of art where we usually think of imagination. It's our sensory experience that contains emotional quality. And one that's very funny is the world of kitsch, the art of bad taste. You know, that came from Hitler. He really didn't like art, and he only had his favorite kind. And all the fine art that was modern, he locked it up. So the world of bad taste, we do have people who try to take over the art world. Here's another definition that's my favorite at the end. Another female, Ellen Dissanaki, making something special. Everyday man, homo aestheticus. That is so good for kids because they don't have to worry so much about all the formal definitions. But here we go. I just taught you a couple. But we can do that in the play and make it really funny. Now, the lizard, this is me. She in real life, she becomes the lizard lady, as you can see. I have that outfit I bought online from China. And I've got a lizard head. It's the same lizard head as we have here. I download it, and I invite kids. Here I am from Copper Canyon Middle School in Apache Junction in Arizona, asking them to become part of the play. Here I am, as you can see. I got a tail, but again, I keep on losing it, and it's because it's dragging around. And the kids, they really get a big kick out of this. Here are some of their mask drawings, and I put these up online. As you can see, they're quite clever. The teacher wanted them to do a three-dimensional mask too, but these are easier for students to make, as you can see. One thing we did learn is they have to outline the parts, like the gecko in the top right, so they show up on the virtual world. Sometimes I do this in Photoshop. I cut them out in transparency, and when I put them up, they're no longer just a block. You can actually fly through them with Phantom. You set the Phantom feature of the build tool. Okay, here we go. Now Lizzie, again, she's transforming herself. This is one of the most dominant and current definition of art. Art is transformation. Now, a lizard is perfect for femininity because lizards, not all lizards need a male to help them out to lay their eggs. They can do quite a good job of making babies themselves. They're great for camouflage. They can hide anywhere. And they, again, they're about the only animal I know that can regenerate. Now, Leonardo, he had his Vitruvian Man, and we have the Lizzie of ours with her changing proportions. And you know, recently, one of my colleagues made me change myself into a robot. So I'm also a fembot on Second Life. Well, here we have the Kitchee Crow. And she says, so you think you can find ours? You're not looking in the right place. Go to the left, and go to the right, and come back again. Then go to the right and the left and cross over. What pattern do you think you make on the ground? Kitchee said, I'll take you to ours, but you have to find me some beautiful red berries in the desert. Of course, you know, they all poke fun at her because she would die if she ate them. See, the world of good taste is really not good taste. It's bad taste. It's bad for you. Okay, towards the end of the play, the group trudges home, and Brainless cries, we're still looking for ours, but it keeps slipping away. Cowardly, the Coyote confesses, I might have found some moral beauty. And Cowardly says, it means the colors, forms, and meaning constantly change as we walk and talk along the trail. It depends on how we perceive them in our search. And Lizzie hisses, art is everywhere, but to the eyes of common people, I am unnoticed. And so please, join me. Send me a mask and a pop-up tail. Help me find ours. Okay, thank you. I think I'm done. You have any questions? Oh, thank you. Somebody asked me about my future plans, and if you go to my art arc, you can go into the sky. I have a classroom in the sky, and students are building fantasy creatures up there. And we're going to turn this Lizard of Ours play into three-dimensional installation with the young students this summer in my local contract school. And this type of curriculum or lesson is what we call rhizomatic. It's like a plant, a rhizome, with no beginning or no ending, like our internet connections. Now my students are also learning about ecology in the desert, and they really have to learn to leave those creatures alone, because if they don't, all the evil, not the predators, the prey, the smaller bugs will take over. Yeah. That is cute. We also filmed The Lizard of Oz, my students. It's as a machinima, and it's a YouTube video, and you can find it. I think it's somewhere here in my notes. You could enjoy. It's about 3 minutes. Thanks. Do you have any other questions for me? Oh, nice. Where's your video?
No, I was typing.
Yes, for children, we're using the OpenSim, and the site is sponsored by the University of British Columbia. We do it every summer. It's the third summer now for 4 days, 2 hours a day. And then I have to go back later and interview the kids to kind of encourage them to give me more feedback. But that 4-day idea after school seems to work okay. Yeah, oh good. University of British Columbia is so cutting edge. And my colleague here, Sandrine Han, she is also presenting on Friday. She's the one who invited me. She's from Taiwan. Wow. Can you imagine teaching in Taiwan on Second Life? And my students there are communicating with some of the avatars here. Zinnia, 12 o'clock midnight. Yeah. Yeah. So nothing is impossible for us on these virtual worlds. And I must say that the nonprofit people have been so good in teaching me a lot of their tricks. And Buffy is great. She's a great mentor.
Mary Lou, Buffy asks if the masks are to be hand-drawn.
Oh, yes. You can use even a 5x7 note card. You can use crayon real thickly or magic marker, but you see how you have to outline things or the face parts don't show up? Well, some of you may want to do it digitally too. That's fine. The idea of the lizard coming to life is very important for children. In fact, sometimes I download my avatar and I make shadow puppets with the kids in the schools, and they love that. I give them multiple hands and arms. So your avatar can go right into the classroom. These shadow puppets are great teaching tools.